Hear more from Albie now. Albie, what have you got for us this week?
I'm going to be talking about our wayward prince. No, not Prince Harry, Prince Andrew. Forget about Harry and Meghan for just 1 week, because this week there is another prince who has been causing absolute mayhem for the royal family. Our wayward Duke of York this week, in evidence which was unsealed by a US court, is alleged by a woman known only as Jane Doe 3, who is saying that she's had sexual relations with Prince Andrew in London, in Ghislaine Maxwell's flat, also in New York, and also in the US Virgin Islands. Also, further evidence has come out that Prince Andrew enjoyed daily massages whilst on Jeffrey Epstein's island. I say enough is enough. Our wayward Prince Andrew has simply gone too far this time. Now, he might say that he's not done anything wrong, but it totally stinks to me. Could you imagine in any other situation if there were allegations laid against you or me that we would be treated like this? Treated like Virginia Roberts-Giuffre was, just given a payoff of a multi-million-pound payout back in 2022 to shut up and go away because no wrongdoing was done whatsoever. Or that the Metropolitan Police wouldn't even look into the claims which had been laid against Prince Andrew back in 2021, when Virginia Roberts-Giuffre alleged that she was raped by the Prince at Ghislaine Maxwell's flat in London. The Met Police didn't even contact Virginia Roberts-Giuffre during that investigation. Or could you imagine a world where we weren't extradited for any crimes that were alleged that we committed abroad? It just wouldn't happen. It's one rule for them, another rule for us, and it's got to stop here. The King, I know, this is the King's brother. Prince Charles, King Charles's brother, Prince Andrew has gone too far this time. He's got to have his titles stripped. The Duke of York title has got to go. He's got to stop his funding of his security, and he's got to stop appearing at royal events once and for all. The Met investigation has also got to be reopened into Prince Andrew, and we've got to get a conclusion to this, because the damage that Prince Andrew has done to the reputation of the royal family and the reputation of this country is too much, and we've got to clean up this mess once and for all. What do you make of this, Belinda? I know you are a strident royalist. When you read about what we have read about Prince Andrew this week, what do you make of what's been said?
I'm gutted for the royal family, obviously, but look, the great ancient institution of our monarchy is much bigger than any of the individuals involved, and in fact, historically, over centuries, we've had many a bad, playboy, dodgy prince going right back through the years. We even had Dirty Bertie, Edward VII, that's Queen Victoria's son, a bit of a womanizer. We had George IV, who was a drunkard and a gluttonous man. We had Henry VIII, who killed two of his wives, and Charles II, who had at least 12 illegitimate children. So it's not like we've had a saintly royal family since time began. They've always been the bad apples. And actually, today's royal family, in comparison, still isn't as bad as what we've had in the past. It's just everyone knows about everything now, and
does that make what's happened any better?
Absolutely not. But what I'm saying is, no. What I'm saying is, now our royal family is so much bigger than Prince Andrew, and Prince Andrew needs to serve king and country, and he needs to disappear from royal public life. Toot sweet. It's a sacrifice. It may seem unfair because he has not actually been found guilty of anything yet, but the accusations, the reputational damage he has done to the monarchy is enough to, I think, require him to take a step back and have some humility about it and say, what's the best for the monarchy and its longevity? Take a back seat. He should be doing that instead of trying to get back.
And I believe in innocent until proven guilty, Darren, but the Met Police didn't even contact Virginia Roberts-Giuffre for the allegations that she made against him that she was raped in Ghislaine Maxwell's flat. I mean, it's one thing to say innocent until proven guilty. It's another thing if you, like me, think the investigation wasn't done properly.
Yes, but I mean, I guess the question would be, though, Albie, like, what evidence would there be at this point? Like, what is her word against his? And at that point, what do the Metropolitan Police do? I think there's a real problem here with the fact that, one, that obviously in and of itself, rape is a bloody awful thing and obviously should be investigated. But when it comes to the other charges that are put against him, from all I can work out, it strikes me that a bit like Steptoe and Son, we have to say, this is a dirty old man, you dirty old man. And,
it's very good, Darren.
And I just think we've got to be careful here that we I think there are grounds to be the morality police and say, well, you know, he's a filthy old perv or whatever. But I don't think you can go back and say, well, you know, he ought to be in prison, he ought to be in the slammer. Not if there's not any evidence of criminality.
But I think you can say, Benjamin Butterworth, that King Charles was wrong to have Prince Andrew walking with him at Sandringham over Christmas like nothing was wrong, knowing that this evidence was being unsealed just a couple of weeks later.
I mean, yes, but I think Prince Andrew is so arrogant and entitled and forceful that I doubt, you know, in a sense that there's much choice. You know, at a family occasion like that, that's not necessarily a public one, I dare say that he probably pushes himself into those positions. What the King needs to do, and it's worth noting that there's 12 years age difference between Charles and Andrew, so they're not that close. They didn't grow up together as children, really, because, you know, Charles had left home by the time Andrew was 6. And the fact is that Royal Lodge, which he is basically claiming squatters' rights to stay in, he needs to be kicked out of that straight away. He needs to pay for himself. He needs to go elsewhere. But also, you know, the claims which, you know, as again, that he denies everything. It also says that Sarah Ferguson was a close friend of Epstein, even though we know what kind of an abhorrent person he is. We mentioned ITV a moment ago. She is the darling of ITV at the moment. She's sat there reviewing the papers on This Morning. She's a panellist on Loose Women. She is becoming this daytime lovey, and yet no one is asking her, what do you know about this incredibly serious situation? And now it's stated that she was friends too.
Does this mean there's something fundamentally crooked about the British establishment?
No,
ITV, the royal family, the government?
No, I don't think you can blame the entire royal family on one man's actions. What I do think, I mean, first of all, he's an absolute disgrace to the royal family and disgrace to this country, so let's be clear about that. I don't think he does any good for us whatsoever, and he should be chucked out of the royal family at the earliest opportunity. I do think this makes a case for a slimmed down, more efficient royal family that can operate in a time where the media is all over you no matter where you are. You know, we've got Prince Harry and Meghan off in California saying whatever they want about the royal family, but they're still technically royals. So they represent this country in some form or another. So strip everyone that's not a working royal or an immediate royal of those titles, and we will see a much more functional and popular royal family.
Do you think, though, that just getting rid of titles of Harry and Meghan would stop the media interest in it?
I don't think there should be Prince or Duke or Duchess.
No, I think the immediate line, underneath the King or the future King, that immediate line should be where we draw the royalty from.
All right,
there's too many royals, way too many royals.
The outgoing Danish Queen stripped her grandkids of any titles. Maybe we should have that.
Maybe.
Well,